Are you a superhero or a celebrity? Now, that was one of the questions that we kind of like, we went into a little bit deeper just within the conversation, but there were a few others.
The invitation to bring our full, authentic selves to work signals that this place could be the place to safely shed the guise. We could collect the parts of ourselves we've compartmentalized and trust that our differences will be seen as assets, not liabilities. Seated in this call for authenticity is this idea that those who don't have to spend all their energy hiding parts of themselves could find more fulfillment at work. At the end of a senior leadership brainstorming meeting, I was called into an unscheduled check-in with an executive. She sounded enthusiastic about how my contributions helped move the project forward, so it surprised me when she then suggested that in future meetings, I should try to be more agreeable to help give others a win. If I did have feedback, she advised that I send it over email instead. Honestly, I was taken aback. Like, here I was feeling like my contributions mattered, that my seat at that table had proved pivotal to the success of our work together. Excitedly, I felt a lightness, ideating alongside my colleagues without reserve. The work was riveting, so I opted outside of my usual guardedness. I stopped hiding my opinions. I worried less about those constricted norms of how I should express myself. For the first time, I felt like I could take off that costume so many of us have to wear. Clearly, that was a mistake. At the end of her comments, I tried to keep it real with her. I said, "Your advice is consistent with the way women of color, Black women especially, are treated at work." Her response fit perfectly into this 3-step framework I've now come to know as DARVO. Deny, attack, reverse the victim with the offender. DARVO sounds like this. Jodi-Ann, this has nothing to do with your race. Deny. You're just being too sensitive and angry. Attack. You know, if you're gonna play the race card, every time I try to give you feedback, it's gonna make it really hard for us to work together. I just want you to be successful here. I'm just trying to support you. Who's the victim now? Her attempts to gaslight me, to psychologically manipulate me into questioning my own reality was futile. Even then, in that moment, I knew that my experience was not unique. For too many Black women and other people of color, people living with disabilities, non-binary people, deaf people, LGBTQIA+ people, and others among us that are constantly featured on the "come work with us" section on company websites. We know this harsh reality intimately. Being authentic privileges those already part of the dominant culture. It is much easier to be who you are when who you are is all around you. Coming just as we are when we're the first, the only, the different, or one of the few can prove too risky. So, we wear the costume. But when the time comes for the stretch projects, the promotion, equal pay, recognition, mentors, sponsors, I'm overlooked. You need to work on being more of a team player, they say. Your approach makes it difficult to work with you, they say. Try to help others feel more comfortable around you, they say. You are hurting your relationships at work when you talk about racism, they say. No promotion, no mentor, no votes. We cannot compete in the costume contest. without a costume and expect to win throughout our professional lives. Without accountability to examine these systems of bias and power, the call for authenticity fails. The work to shift culture is designed to cost us our own mental and physical health. If who we are makes us as difficult, as they say, then this demand for our authenticity compromises our careers. Listen, the fact is this: one person or even a few people coming just as we are cannot change company culture.
A big question is there a sense of irony with even the whole idea of bringing yourself to work? Aren't you you? Aren't you always you? And the question is, are you always you? We've had some talk about this idea of an imposter syndrome, where you don't necessarily feel comfortable within your environment, but you feel as though you had to play it safe in order to stay safe. And it's a big one because the most valuable things that exist, such as your time, your essence, are so often sacrificed for the things that are not. And one of those things that may not be is, what are other people's perception of you? Maybe that's something that's incredibly important that you're willing to forgo your time, your essence, or even how you feel about yourself because you care more about what other people think of you. And I see it as creating a sense of irony just for the fact that a lot of the things that are the most valuable are the things that they don't cost any money at all. But again, that's a topic, and it's specific to certain people. But I feel that being the case.